Are you going to pull for Acheron? If so, I think you'll definitely want to know how she works and what relic/planar sets and materials she will need. To start this whole thing off, remember guys, this is a dream! Starting off with her materials for her traces, what you will need is currently on the screen. Make sure you farm the new Nihility Golden Calyx, as Acheron does not use the keys. Her Ascension material is the same as Kafka's. Acheron is a Lightning Nihility DPS, but this does not mean she replaces Kafka's role. As a matter of fact, Acheron is a crit DPS, meaning she does not give DOT or proc it, like Kafka. For Acheron's kit, her main sources of damage are her skill and her ultimate. Her skill, Octobolt Flash, gives Acheron 1 stack of Slash Stream to a single target, therefore inflicting a Crimson Knot stack, and does AoE damage. Her Slash Stream/Crimson Knot is her own unique debuff, which, put simply, is what you need to get her ultimate. One integral part of Acheron's kit is the fact that she does not get any energy from outside sources, like Tingyun or Huohuo, or an energy regen main stat/planar, but this isn't really that big of a problem. This is because she gets her ultimate within 2 to 3 turns consistently, due to how often she inflicts Crimson Knot stacks, of which you need 9 to activate her ult. Acheron also completely ignores type weakness on her ultimate, which makes her usable in any scenario. One very neat detail is when any member on the team inflicts a debuff, it creates a stack of Crimson Knot. This is even helped by her bonus trace 1, which gives Acheron 4 stacks of Crimson Knot to random enemy at the start of battle. When an enemy with Crimson Knots is killed, the knots get transferred to the enemy with the most Crimson Knots currently. The rest of her traces are her bonus trace 2, the Abyss, which gives her a damage increase on all attacks of 115 to 160% of her original damage, and this is based on how many Nihility units other than Acheron are on your team. Her third trace, Thundercore, makes it so that her ultimate damage increases when her ultimate hits, of which gives her a damage increase of 30 per hit, and lasts for 3 turns. This trace also allows for Acheron to deal 6 hits of damage when the Stygian Research from her ult is triggered, which happens after 3 hits on ultimate/Rainblade, which gives her an extra 25% of lightning damage to a single target on every hit. One especially neat detail is Acheron's technique, which inflicts Crimson Knot onto a random single target, and can even just straight up one-shot an entire wave of weak enemies and skip combat. This is very useful for Simulated Universe, where you can just one-shot the entire enemies and get the blessings. You also don't use a technique point if your technique misses. Acheron's best relic sets are 4-piece Pioneer Diver of Dead Waters, or the 4-piece Lightning set. Another alternative is 2-piece attack/2-piece prisoner/lightning, but the best in slot is 4-piece Pioneer. She only gets the doubled crit rate and crit damage on her ultimate due to her 10% all-type res debuff on her ultimate, and as such, her Crimson Knot is not counted as a debuff. Even so, this effect is by far the best. She wants a crit rate/crit damage body, attack/speed boots, though the difference isn't that important. But make sure you hit 134 speed if you use speed boots, as this gives a second action in the first cycle. Try to aim for a crit rate/crit damage of 70 to 160, and keep in mind that she gets 20 crit damage from traces, which makes this more achievable. For her planars, I just recently found this out, but she actually does not want a lightning damage bonus for her main stat. She's a unique case that wants attack percent over damage percent, as she gets a vast amount of damage bonuses in her ultimate. She wants to have the base attack so that there actually is attack to give a damage bonus. But of course, if you have a cracked lightning sphere with better substats, it works just fine. You want to use an attack rope, as this is her only viable option. Like I said earlier, she does not get energy from any outside sources, counting ERR rope, but it is your account to brick, not mine. For her teams, it seems like her current best team is Gwynefen/Pela/Acheron/Gallagher. The reason Gallagher is best here is because he applies a debuff on his enhanced basic attack, making him the only healer to apply a debuff. But do consider, Gallagher has no cleanse, so any sustain works just as well. She can also do fine with one Nihility unit and a replacement like Bronya/Ron-Mei, as they make up for the damage loss from the Nihility part member trace, and are overall cracked regardless. For Acheron's light cone options, unsurprisingly, her signature light cone is her best in slot, as it increases crit damage by 36 and applies a debuff Empty Bubbles on attack, of which makes Acheron deal 24% more damage to said targets, and also increases damage on ultimate by 24, if that wasn't enough. If you are Giga Chat enough to have pulled for Silverwolf's signature light cone, this is actually her second best in slot light cone. This is because of the 12% crit rate increase when attacking enemies with 3 or more debuffs, and dealing 12% more damage to targets when giving them Aether Code. But the cool thing is that there are a surprising amount of good non-limited light cones for her. The best of all is the 4-star light cone Goodnight Sleep Well, as this light cone is overall just cracked. At S1, this light cone gives a 36% damage buff, and at S5, this increases to an insane 72%. But if you don't have this, there is one easy free-to-play option. The Memory of Chaos Shop light cone Fermata can very much work. as this gives a 32% break effect and increases damage dealt to enemies with shock/wind shear by 32%. Kafka's signature 5-star light cone can work on Acheron, but it is just overall not as good as the other options, and you'd rather have it on Kafka regardless. Acheron is arguably the best DPS in the game alongside Jingliu, but there is one thing to consider. Acheron can be used in any weakness type due to her ultimate, which might give her a slight edge. Remember, this information is subject to change in the final version. However, this is the current state of events. I am so goddamn hyped for Acheron. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.